When love is separated but never silenced, this story about a brother and a sister is inspired by When the Mountains Echoed by Khalid Hosseini. There are stories that do not begin with joy or sorrow, they begin with love. But when this love placed inside poverty, inside helplessness, becomes a very difficult choice, that is when the love becomes unbearably heavy. This is one such story. It is about a brother and a sister. It is about a father who loved deeply but lived with very little. This story is about a single decision that continued to echo long after the voices that made it fell silent. Chapter 1: The Mountains That Listen. In a small Afghan village surrounded by mountains that seemed ancient and patient, lived a man named Sabur. Sabur was poor. He had 2 children, Abdullah and Pari. The mountains have always been there, watching, listening. People believed that if you spoke loudly enough in that village, the mountains would echo your voice back to you. But no one ever spoke about the quieter echoes, the ones that stayed inside them. Every night before sleep, Sabur told his children a story, an interesting one, but a painful one. This story was about a father who loved his child so deeply that when a terrible choice was placed before him, the father chose to give his son away, not because he wanted to, but because he believed that it was the only way his child could survive. Sabur never spoke this story easily. His voice would become slow and sometimes it would stop. Abdullah, the elder sibling, listened carefully. But Pari was too young to understand. She fell asleep holding her brother's hand. Chapter 2: A Brother Who Remembered. Abdullah was old enough to remember things children usually forget. Abdullah remembered hunger in his village. Abdullah remembered cold mornings. Abdullah remembered his mother's absence as a feeling. But most of all, Abdullah remembered responsibility. Responsibility of a brother. Pari was small. She did not remember hunger. She did not remember fear. All she remembered was Abdullah. When Pari woke up from bad dreams, she looked for him. When Pari laughed, she turned to see if Abdullah was watching. Abdullah carried Pari when she was tired, shared his food even when his stomach hurt, and told her stories when the night felt too large. If love had a shape, it would have looked like a boy holding his sister's hand. Sabur saw all this, and every time he did, his heart tightened a little more. Chapter 3: Love That Has No Good Choices. In that tiny Afghan village, life broke people. Sometimes it wore them down quietly. Winter came early that year. Work was scarce and food was scarcer. Sabur worked harder than ever. But love does not fill empty stomachs. Effort does not always bring relief. And that is when an offer came to Sabur. A wealthy couple from the city, unable to bear children, offered to take in Pari. Pari would be fed, educated. She would be safe. And when Sabur heard this, he did not decide quickly. Rather, he carried this thought like a wound. At night, Sabur lay awake listening to his children breathe. knowing that love sometimes demands a sacrifice that saves one life and quietly damages another. Chapter 4, The Night Before Goodbye. The night before they left, Sabur sat alone. Abdullah slept lightly, his arm wrapped around Pari. Sabur watched them for a long time. He did not cry. He simply sat there, listening to the mountains breathe. Chapter 5, The Separation. When the morning came, Pari did not understand why she had to leave. She cried for Abdullah. She reached for him. Abdullah understood everything. But this understanding did not make him strong. It only made him hollow. The mountains stood still and the mountains echoed. A brother learning what helplessness feels like. A child calling for her brother. Chapter 6, A Life That Moves Forward. Abdullah grew older in the village. He worked, married, and had children of his own. From the outside, Abdullah's life looked complete. But inside, something remained unfinished. Memory stayed with him, not sharply or dramatically, but persistently, like a quiet ache that never fully fades. Pari's presence lived inside Abdullah, not as an image, but as a missing piece. Chapter 7, A Life That Forgets. On the other hand, Pari grew up far away in the city. She was loved and protected and given every opportunity. But sometimes, without knowing why, Pari felt restless. She dreamed of a boy holding her hand. She woke up with a feeling she could not name. Memory had left her early, and forgetting too was a kind of loss. Chapter 8, Two Kinds of Pain. This is one of the deepest truths of the story. Those who remember suffer, but those who forget suffer differently. Abdullah carried memory like a scar. Pari carried forgetting like an absence. Both were shaped by a choice made long ago. Neither had been consulted. Chapter 9, When Truth Finally Arrives. Truth does not arrive when you want it to. It arrives only when it must. Pari eventually learned the truth, who she was, who she lost. But this knowledge did not bring relief. It brought grief. Because time once again does not return. But something else arrives too with time. It is understanding. And this understanding, though painful, is sometimes the only form of healing available. Chapter 10, What Echoes Really Mean. This story, as you must have understood now, does not promise perfect reunions or it offers neat endings. No, it offers that love does not disappear just because people are separated. Love lives on in memory, in longing, in the lives shaped by absence. The mountains echoed, not because the sound was loud, but because the feeling was deep. Love can be separated by time and distance, but it is never truly lost. It only learns to live quietly. Follow Tell a Tale with Heena for more such tales. Thank you.